Hey, today we're going to be talking about investor meeting mastery, the key to getting a yes. A lot of real estate investors, when they're starting to raise capital, are kind of confused about what is the purpose of an investor meeting. A lot of people think it's to get a check. And I'm going to recommend that no, that is not the initial purpose of your investor meeting. Your initial purpose of that investor meeting is to get a medium commitment. We're going to talk today about the difference between soft, medium, and hard commitments, and why getting people signed off on a simple little document called an EOI is your number one goal with an investor meeting. Stay tuned. So a lot of new capital raisers that I talk with are kind of confused about what the goal of an investor meeting is. A lot of people think it's just to start the relationship, have a nice little chat, kind of feel people out, see if they may or may not be interested in a deal sometime in the future, try to keep in touch with them if they are, that sort of thing. So it's very soft and non-committal. It's wishy-washy. So a lot of folks think that they want to get a soft commitment, just getting somebody to say, yeah, I'm kind of interested, let me know when you got a deal. That's not what you want to go after. Other people think that the purpose of an investor meeting is to get somebody to sign off on a contract, or better yet, cut you a check for $100 grand. I'm going to suggest that that's not the purpose, especially of your first investor meetings. It's something kind of in between. It's the Goldilocks formula. You don't want too hot or too cold. You want something just in between, and that is called what I call a medium commitment, right? It's not a soft commitment or a hard commitment. It's a medium commitment, and that is getting your investor prospect, number one, to either say, yes, I'm interested in doing a deal with you, or no, I'm not interested in doing a deal with you. And if they say yes, great. We want them to sign off on what's called an expression of interest, an EOI. And this expression of interest is a very simple little document. It is not legally binding. It's exactly as the words say, and it's an expression of interest. But by getting somebody to sign off on that, the chances of them actually investing with you when the rubber hits the road rises exponentially compared to somebody who's just given you a verbal soft commitment. And it's a much easier step to take than trying to get somebody to sign off on a contract or cut you a check in the first place. So this is a major, major shortcut to success, to getting a lot more investors to commit and to actually do deals with you. So one of my big tricks when it comes to doing investor meetings is to get my prospective investor to commit to giving me a solid answer at the end of the meeting. And most newer real estate capital raisers think that the answer that they desperately want to get at the end of the meeting is, yes, I want to invest with you. Now that would be nice, but from my standpoint, I want one of two answers. Either, yes, I'm interested in investing with you, or no, I'm not interested in investing with you. I don't want maybes. I don't want anything in between. And a lot of people are happy with getting kind of a soft, non-committal kind of an answer from people. I'm not. And here's why. If somebody says, yeah, I might be interested, kind of keep me in the loop, that's really just a polite no. and they're just leaving a little sliver of hope in there where really there is none. And the challenge with that is we end up chasing after these people, following up incessantly, just kind of nagging and hassling them over the time, and really kind of turning them off and lowering our positioning in the eyes of those prospective investors. Myself personally, I would far rather have somebody say, you know what, Dave, looks good, but I'm really not interested, and then I know where I stand. Now, I'm not going to get rid of those people. Time and circumstances might change for them, but I'm just going to put them on the back burner and keep them going with my regular marketing, okay? Now, on the other hand, if I do get somebody who says, you know what, Dave, yes, I am interested, then I want to take them to the next stage. And for me, the first part of the next stage is getting them to sign off on an expression of interest. And then depending on the kind of deals I'm doing, maybe I'll introduce them to my finance specialist, get them pre-qualified for financing or whatever the next part of the process is. But the first step is that expression of interest. Now, if somebody signs off on the expression of interest, again, it just shows that they are seriously interested. So you want to know how to get people to commit to giving you a solid answer at the end of the investor meeting. It's very, very simple. It's called an upfront agreement. And if I'm meeting with somebody, the conversation goes something like this. So Joe, at the end of our meeting here together today, one of two things is going to happen. We'll get to the end of the whole presentation, and perhaps for whatever reason you see that this is not a good fit for you right now, I want you to be very comfortable letting me know, okay? Or on the other hand, we get to the end of the presentation and you like what you see and you want to get going and take the next steps, then we'll take it down that road. And don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to cut me a check for 150 grand. We'll just get the ball rolling and take a look at the next steps. Does that make sense? So Joe, at the end of our time together today, are you comfortable either saying, Dave, yes, I'm interested, or Dave, no, I'm not interested? Okay, so that way we get the person to commit. And at the end of the presentation, they're going to give us one of those two answers, and it's going to simplify your life tremendously. And again, my goal is if they say, yes, I'm interested, first step is sign off an expression of interest. They get a copy, I get a copy, and now that person is put into my investor hot list. So when I've got a deal on the go, instead of spraying and praying and shotgun approach trying to pitch the deal to everybody on my list, now I've got that group of hot investors who are waiting eagerly on the sidelines for my next deal. And I go to them and I say, hey guys, here's what I've got. Who wants in? First come, first serve. Creates a little bit of supply and demand there, especially if I only need one investor for that kind of deal. So hopefully you can see the big advantage to doing it this way. This is the goal of your investor meetings. The goal of an investor meeting is to get people to sign off on the expression of interest. I got a great story around this. There is a couple that attended one of my trainings a couple of years ago, and they learned about this whole expression of interest idea, and it made a night and day shift in their approach to raising capital. Up until then, they really weren't sure what they're trying to accomplish with their investor meetings. They were just getting these soft commitments, people saying, yeah, when you got a deal, let me know, I'll be interested then. And they were having a really hard time to get people to commit to their deals. They learned about doing the whole expression of interest idea, and within a couple of months, they raised $600,000 for their deals, and they've never looked back since. This is just an ongoing part of their process. It makes life so much simpler. They know exactly what their goal is with their investor meetings, and that's to get a solid answer. And if the answer is yes, get people signed off on an expression of interest. When you start applying this, you're going to simplify your life and skyrocket your capital. All right, do you like that idea? Would you like more like them? Well, then go ahead and grab my book, Money Partner Formula. Click on the link in the description below or go to investorattractionbook.com. Get your copy today. We'll go through my entire process and how you can raise 6 figures in a matter of weeks and 7 figures in a matter of months.